I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also three sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all: race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
Bleeding so profusely. So our Prophet Muhammad risked his life. He risked his life was in danger. Matter of fact,
I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also three sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all: race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms.
Was there. Ali reached him.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money. Grand Rising, and thank you all for joining us on this Wednesday edition of the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. We appreciate you so much. We've had a few technical difficulties today, but of course, we are now with you and just checking to make sure all of our systems are working so that we can bring in our co-host, Kareem Hamid, and have that very important discussion that we want to have today. This is not an easy time for relationships, and many people are struggling with their love relationships, even as we prepare for our special series on love on the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. We're excited because we get a chance to help you explore that which affects your life. And we want to make sure that in the future, our children are able to maintain their love relationships, even though many of them, statistically speaking, have come from homes that might be considered broken. So, of course, if you come from what's considered a broken home, then you may have difficulty knowing how to actually form a relationship that works. And if you have had a relationship that broke up in a way that was painful, then you may have difficulty starting again. And so we want you to consider so, of course, if you are having difficulties, then it is difficult for you to teach your children what a healthy love relationship looks like. So we want to help you with that process. And we're going to see if we can reach our co-host.
Study his addresses and lectures.
Kareem
And he
Hamid.
said, when we get serious, when we truly get serious, we will free ourselves from all of this crime and murder that's happening to us. When we get serious. So, and here's Allah with a command. Oh, you who believe, fight the unbelievers who gird you about, and let them find firmness in you. We know.
So one of the things that we are looking at as we look at getting our connection to our co-host, one of the things that we are looking at is the pattern that's set by our families. Sometimes it's cultural, sometimes it is historic. And sometimes it is a matter of us learning how to change the pattern. So if we have not understood how to change the pattern that our parents have set by the example that they set in our relationships, then we often have difficulty creating something that is successful. So as we take a look at the foundation of our relationships, let's take a look at the difficulties
confronted. And the believer has to be firm. No one can take your life unless it's Allah's will. Allah controls life and death.
You are now off the host queue. You are now in the host queue.
Our children, and the environment that our children are forced to be raised in. What kind of future will we have? Who will create the proper environment for our neighborhood? Now, this isn't a joke. This is serious. Am I still alive? Yes, you're alive. No, there are others on the line. Oh, no. I didn't know if I
You are now off the host queue.
to myself.
You are now in the host queue.
Still hoping I wanted to make a comment, but no, I can just listen. Yes, well, whenever if you want to share, because what we're addressing here is important. I want to open up another line, inshallah. Okay, our brothers relate. Let me see. Boy, the lines are lighting up. 312-721. Assalamu alaikum.
Yes. Kareem Hamid, here I am. Yes, we had a few technical difficulties today and had to switch some of our equipment, but of course our loyal listeners are always here with us, and so I'm grateful that you are joining us and having quite a very necessary discussion. We had chosen on the Female Solution for the month of February to address the foundations of our love relationships so that we can repair the damage inside ourselves that make us the people that cause problems for other people. And so, as always, your insights are timely. One of the things that we're looking at today is what is your relationship? What is the relationship between you and the opposite sex parent? And, one of the things that I found in our research is that people who experience conflict in their homes, in their upbringing, with the parent who is of the opposite sex, that has a profound impact on the shaping of their personality, even with issues such as conflict, hostility, violence. So, as you speak about the history of what happened with people who were going through and being given guidance on proper behavior, the challenge that we face is that behavior really cannot be corrected from the outside in, even with laws that enforce what is considered civil treatment of others. Unless one corrects what is in oneself, the behavior really does not change. It just manifests in a different form, but it's still problematic. So we know that particularly with the coming of Islamic teachings to a society that had, as all societies, a lot of behaviors that were hurtful, even violent. There have been times when even those who were advocates of a transformation in behavior saw themselves reverting back to the same patterns that existed in the culture, because this is what shapes us. And this is the challenge that we have in really transforming who we are, is understanding what is inside of us that makes us treat others the way we treat them. And are we merely imitating what we experienced in our homes? And are we manifesting the relationship that was influenced in many ways by the opposite sex parent? So this is one of the things we've been exploring as we look at what it really takes to transform behavior.
And even though people have received teachings all over the world that give them guidance, often they are simply not able to fix what's broken in them until they recognize what it is. And it's whatever absence of love that they experienced in their upbringing that makes them repeat the same pattern of behavior toward others. And often it's difficult for them to see it in themselves. Even as they may be strongly religious because they feel like they're following the religion to the letter of the law, but at the same time, it's not really transforming them because they're not recognizing the deeper patterns that have been set by the pain they received in their childhood, emotional pain that comes from parents who simply were stuck in a pattern of behavior and couldn't see how it was very unloving and very ungodly.
You recognize in that change, because you say change does not occur outside. Once we, there's the modeling, the demonstration, the behavior of those that are under the charge of parents. Sometimes, what the behavior that they witness can spark a change that must occur inside. If I see my father being very appreciative of his wife, of my mother, that's something I'm observing with my eyes. I'm seeing that. And inshallah, there is a chance that something will occur on the inside from what I'm witnessing from the outside. That's why our behavior toward each other is very important in front of our children. If there's a disagreement between spouses, we are not to argue in front of our children. We are not to let them witness that there's a difference of opinion between both parents. It is the obligation of parents that they meet privately, that they discuss that privately, outside of the eyes and the hearing of their children, so that the children are, there's a degree of safety and security with those that are over you. They are securing you, they are providing you with safety. When they see a breach in that, being emotionally, they feel a loss. They feel a sense of insecurity based upon what has been displayed in front of them, especially coming from both parents. Yes, we will have different husbands and wives. We will have different, and they can have debate. I don't use the word argument because people sometimes associate argument with anger or violence, but that is not the true definition of argument. Argument is to state your point, and I listen, and I state my point, and you listen. We argue the point. But speaking of what can occur from the outside in, our children are witnessing. They are witnessing a lack of security when they see both parents arguing with each other, using language toward each other. Well, y'all are supposed to be our guardian, and that it does have an emotional effect on our children, a sense of insecurity. But that's occurring from the outside, and it can affect the inside. What we model, how we behave, our behavior, how we refer to one another is very important, because Allah has placed them under our charge. Sometimes we think that maintaining wife and the children is just to supply the material needs of the children. But we are also should be aware that Allah has placed under our authority a soul, an emotional nature. And we have to be aware that we have to be the one that shape and mold and maintain, an emotional nature that Allah has entrusted under our charge. So change, it can be sparked from the outside.
Yes.
That's so important that we be aware. It's not just the material things that we provide for our children.
Can I be heard?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, assalamu alaikum. I'm Latif Marshahid here. And what Kareem Hamid is saying, I agree 100%, because it gets back to the socialization and the culturation of our children. It's not just what it is that we say to them, but that registers with them. So Kareem is 100% right on point. It's also what it is that they actually view and observe in parenting. This is why it is the first social institution established for human society in being human, and actually being human, not animalistic at all. And children are, as you know, those stages that children go through, the formative years, where they go through the impressionable years, where the imprints are being made on our children. And it comes from that first social institution, which is family life. What is it that they see? What is it that's going on in that social development and in the culture that's being established in the family life? That it's not difficult. It really is not. I mean, Kareem really gave it very detailed, because this is how the human being is actually created. The human being is created to be impressionable. This is how the Creator has created us, to be able to be influenced. And there's a duality. The reality is there's a duality in how our young people can be impressed. But when we see the statistics, the data, depending on where you get it from, when we talk about African Americans in particular, it could be anywhere from 70 to 75 to close to 80% African American children born out of wedlock, meaning they come into a one-parent home. So what Kareem is speaking about is not the fault of the child. The legitimacy of the child in terms of the needs and the rights of the children, you understand, to be taken care of more than just the basic, the fundamentals, food, clothes, and shelter. It's much more than that, because that child holistically is not only a physical being, but they're a moral being. Where are they going to get morality from, a moral conscience from, if it doesn't come from the family life or from the parenting in the family life? They're emotional beings. How are they going to develop emotional intelligence? They're also a rational being. Where is the rationale, you understand, for thinking and being an intellectual being going to come from? And they are social beings. So the parents are supposed to be modeling for them in terms of how social activity, interaction in the family life is supposed to be. And yes, they are spiritual beings. And what it is they see and what they hear and see is affecting the spirit of those children. Yes, it's a combination of all of that. But I was glad to hear Kareem articulate that in detail, because this is what the problem is. There's a void. There's a void in the children that are coming up today. They're not getting that. They're not seeing that.
Yes.
Right in society, we're seeing what is the void and absence in the first social institution, which is family life. That's what we'll be celebrating our 7th anniversary on Parenting and Family Reconstruction Learning Lab. Invitation has been sent out to you in regard to that, because you was the first. We was the first responders.
First responder.
Yeah. I'm calling you out, Naima. You were one of the first responders. This is a part of our history. You was one of the first responders, because I know how near and dear it is to you, and also Kareem, and all conscious Muslims and right-minded people. You don't have to be a Muslim. You need to be right-minded and use common sense here. You see, so this is very, very important. I like the topic that you're going to have for the female solution for the upcoming month. It's very timely. I'll stop there, because I could go on and on. You know, this is near and dear to me in that regard. But we got the solution for the solution. There's no doubt in my mind. We just have to begin to go back to square one. Understand that parenting and family is a sacred institution. The Creator established the sacred institution of family life and the sacred institution of marriage life that is supposed to be the continuation of family life. This is very important. It's in the Quran. And we were just talking about that before you came in, Kareem. And
yes.
Going back in the life of the prophet. Yeah. But we bring it to the day. We have to see it today as being problematic. But we have the solution. And this is why we have to teach this, because it's not being taught in many of these homes today, especially African American homes. I'll stop there.
Well, I thank you so much. I thank you so much, and I look forward to participating in the anniversary program of the marriage and family learning labs, because one of the things that is
at the end of this, that'll be 31st, that'll be next Wednesday.
Yes.
So the correspondence has been sent. We haven't heard a response yet, but we'd be honored to have you. You're a big part of the initiation of that with me here on AM 360. So thank you so much. Continue the great work, you and Kareem. Continue the great work that you're doing. I'm very supportive. Thank you. Love you. Assalamu alaikum.
Well, we love you as well. And you have definitely helped to give instructions for many people who, as you said, didn't have it in their homes. But I want to address the thing that you said regarding the pattern of marriage and why we're seeing the kind of brokenness that exists in our relationships. And sometimes when things break apart, it's because it needs to be rebuilt on a better foundation. Just like if you have a house that's falling apart, a building that's falling apart, and maybe the foundation is cracked, and so it's leaning to one side, and so it's always going to be affected by the pull of gravity, and that creates more disruption over time, because over time it's leaning even further and parts are falling down, and you want to rebuild it. But if you recognize that the reason perhaps why it's leaning, why it's crooked, why it's off balance is because the foundation needs to be relaid. And that means you have to literally remove the old structure and rebuild the foundation, so that when you rebuild the structure, it's on a firm, even foundation, and that foundation can support it. We've had high numbers of people who got married and stayed married in the past, but there's a reason why they didn't produce children who were able to continue in that pattern, because often the foundation was crooked, it was cracked, it was unstable. You had people who got together who themselves were broken and unstable and emotionally damaged, and they never addressed the damage inside of them. They merely inflicted upon their partner. And children watched this and came to the conclusion that perhaps a love relationship needs to not have the ties of marriage in case somebody's behavior is so painful you need to leave, and the law won't allow you to just leave without legal consequences. So they make the decision that they're going to first try somebody out and see how it works, and maybe live together, and maybe see what happens if they have a child or two together. And then they discover that there are personality conflicts, and so they decide to split. Well, it's literally the same thing as the people who get married and divorce because they can no longer stand to be in the same household. But the people who never marry and split up, they feel like they're just removing the legal binds that cost them money to try to end a relationship. The problem is that we never figured out how to fix the brokenness in ourselves, the reason why the relationship broke up in the first place. And our parents never addressed the brokenness inside of themselves. They were just bound by tradition that said, you stay married until death do you part. And they were bound by the social stigma of divorce. But the fact of the matter is, in that household, they created so much pain because of what was broken inside themselves that their children did not want to re-experience that in their own lives. We have a high case of alcoholism and other kinds of self-destructive behavior that is at the root of a lot of broken families, but we never address. We might say it's wrong to drink or it's wrong to do drugs because your behavior is altered, because your brain chemistry is altered, but we never address the underlying pain that the person is seeking to escape the reason why they're using a chemical substance. What is it that has hurt you? And usually it's that childhood experience that you never talked about or never addressed or never faced, so that it would stop affecting your current behavior. You were saying, Kareem?
Yeah. I know of no other people that have as their leader entertainers.
Yes.
What? We have culture is very, very influential. Culture is very important. And we have been given a culture that gnaws away at the foundation of having strong family life, strong neighborhood, culture that influences one to just be, you know, what kind of, to be irresponsible, to just have sex with no spirituality, with no commitment, just satisfy the appetite of lust. And our children, they are inundated with what is being expressed in the culture. They will refer to as an example or someone to quote, they will refer to a rapper or some star, you know, from out of media. And that is gnawing, no, it has gnawed away at the foundation of us being able to establish our lives. So it requires, you know, I've heard people say, well, they be playing their music and I don't bother them. But you're the parent. We should never surrender. We should never back up. Sometimes silence is an indication of agreement. What is being played into the ears and the minds of us and our children goes against establishing a firm foundation. I don't care what P.I. said. I don't care what Cat Williams said. What does Almighty God say? You know, we have a lot to straighten out, but it takes courage on our part. We have to let them find firmness in you. You will not play that in our home. You will not play that in our home. Oh, just let them go. Just let them be. Just let them go. They're teenagers now, which is an artificial construct. The idea of being a teenager is that, well, look, lighten up. Just let them just have their fun. But what is the result of that? You don't surrender your post. You don't leave your post as parent. You know, so we have to become more firm in our parenting. We want our children to just like us. Well, as Imam Fahim has coined this phrase, that adolescence is an adult with less sense. We have to stand our ground. We have to. Because we're so far behind. We're so far behind. Look at our community. Who will stand their ground? No, you will not play that again. We have to do, we never stop being parents. Never. Whether the result is not up to us, the result is not up to us. But just speak a word to the right. And don't let them find firmness and steadfastness in you. You know, that we have given up precious territory to those that oppress the human being.
Yes.
We have to acquiesce. So it's not our children's fault. It's our fault for surrendering and turning over the minds of our children to people that really don't care nothing about it, nor us. We have to let as I just read, Allah says, let the enemy, let them see firmness in you. Not Minnie Mouse, firmness in you. Now, I have heard people say, now, you know, Daddy don't want that in here. You know his position. And I'm just saying, we have given up our sacred role. It's a sacred role. As parents, we want our children we want to somewhat be their friend, to be their friend. But there's a higher designation that we must hold to. That is to be their parent. We have to do that. No one is going to come to rescue us.
That's for sure.
Yes, go for it. I'll start right there.
That's for sure. There is no one coming to fix the mess we've made. I want to address the thing that you said about the firmness in parenting, because I've had this argument with a few of my companions that have a different philosophy on parenting than the one with which I raised my child, and the one that I observe actually works in terms of producing the kind of behavior that you're describing as, a child that is not drawn to self-destructive behaviors of those who just happen to be famous because they're in entertainment or sports or whatever the case may be. But my friends insist that the problem is that we're not giving our children enough spankings. We're not beating them enough. We're not being firm in the sense of the belief that firmness means you enforce your will, and if they don't comply, you cause them physical pain. And that is often the belief that comes out of a misunderstanding, even of how our Creator goes about in shaping us and molding us to be the person that is kind and loving. And while religions and religious people might paint a picture of the Creator as this enforcer of pain if you don't comply, what really transforms people when they have an experience in the presence of our Creator is the love, the power of love. And everyone who has had a transformative spiritual experience will describe it as a great love that comes to them from the Creator, that transforms them from the inside and causes them to desire to emanate that in themselves, as opposed to a fear of the infliction of pain. Whether a person has had a transformative experience as a Muslim or a Christian or a Buddhist or a Hindu or whatever religious faith you have followed, you as a soul became transformed because you were in the presence of the divine, and it reconnected you to your source of life, which is a loving source, a benevolent source, a source that desires the best for you. And you have felt that. And that is what inspired you to shape your behavior. We're believing that if we force someone to follow some rules and cause them pain, then they're going to follow the rules out of fear. But that does not work. As a matter of fact, one of our hosts always said, Mama D always says, we have to love souls into shape and not whip them into shape. Otherwise, they'll be bent out of shape. And this is what we're seeing. People who have been bent out of shape because parents who themselves were not the embodiment of love in their behavior and treatment of the children want to then beat the children into shape, beat them into submission, beat them into following rules that they themselves are violating. And you, of course, know this. And you've got parents that are unkind, rude, inconsiderate, insensitive. And the child doesn't feel love. And so eventually they rebel from that kind of treatment, and they observe in the household parents talking rudely to each other, parents causing pain to each other physically and emotionally. They see that. So parents who are in that state, they cannot shape a child in a loving way because they're not using love. They don't know what love looks like or feels like because they didn't receive it. What they may have received is harsh treatment and punishment, but they did not receive love, which means sensitivity to your well-being, your feelings, your opinions. How can you have a child feel love if you're raised in an environment that says your feelings don't matter, your opinion doesn't matter, what you think doesn't matter, shut up and do as you're told? Instead of me seeking to understand and empathize with you and help guide you, I'm reprimanding you and punishing you if you don't bend to my will, instead of giving you understanding and shaping you in the foundation of love and support and unconditional love. I'm shaping you in a foundation of fear, and that doesn't work.
We are not on the plane of physical assault.
Oh, physical assault.
You know, for I'm talking about those who believe, not the uncivilized or daring behavior and display of those that do not believe. Almighty God says to us, all right, when we give the good instruction, here is what Allah says in the Surah Tayyiba, repentance. Those who believe, fight the unbelievers who gird you about, and let them find firmness in you. In other words, we shouldn't compromise or water down what we know is the best advice to our children. And know that God is with those who fear him. Whenever, now, here's most important part. Whenever there comes down a surah, and in other words, guidance, some of them say to each other, which of you has had his faith increased tonight? Yeah, those who believe, their faith is increased, and they do rejoice. But those in whose heart is a disease, it will add doubt to their doubt, and they will die in a state of unbelief. See they not that they are tried every year once or twice, yet they turn not in repentance, and they take no heed. Whenever there comes down a sword, they look at each other, saying, does anyone see me? Then they turn aside. God has turned their hearts from the light, for they are people that understand not. Now has come unto you an apostle from amongst yourselves. It grieves him that you should perish. Ordinarily anxious is he over you. To the believers is he most kind and merciful. Our Prophet Muhammad, surely Allah bless the commentary. So that boundless that we're speaking of, it's not a threat of physical assault. It's not. Boundless means holding to those principles that establish human life, not compromising, not watering it down. Hold firm to those principles that establishes well-rounded, well-mature, productive human beings. That's the firmness. Not when we say firm, we walk in and beat somebody. Now you are really in because they all right. So that's how I should respond to that with his cases. That's why we see so much assault and murder among human beings now. Because that is what has been displayed to them. But we can make this change beginning right now. Right now.
So let me ask this
There
question.
are certain things.
What does love
Can I be?
feel like? And can a child feel love from their parent from the foundation of their entering that family, that household? And what does it feel like? And what does it sound like coming from your parent? What does it feel like? Would either of you all like to describe what does love feel like?
Yeah. Naima, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, that's an excellent question. You know, it's so ironic that on Worship and Marriage, I'm doing what is called the True Love Recipe, organic, natural ingredients and qualities and characteristics. It's in true love, no artificial colors or flavors, and the preservatives are natural preservatives to sustain and maintain true love in the sacred institution of marriage. But many of those qualities and characteristics, are also in the sacred institution of family life. And I'm understanding what it is that you're saying. I'm understanding what it is that Kareem is saying. I'm glad he came back and made sure that was clear to the radio listening audience in terms of firmness, because firmness does have a place in terms of parenting, in terms of principles and values. However, to your point, which is really very, very valuable, the question has to be asked with a qualifier in front of love, true love, because when you poll people, they give you all kinds of answers into love. I love you more, I love you more than more. This, and it's just empty. There's no substantive value. So God says also that He will put the love and the compassion in your heart. So before you came on, I had referenced Surah Furqan in the 25th chapter of the Quran, in the 54th verse. This true love embodies many things. I'm doing it from A to Z, 26 letters in the alphabet.
Well, let me ask you this, Brother Mark. Let me ask you this. What does love feel like? If you had to describe a feeling of love, what does it feel like to you to be loved?
This is how it feels like. It should feel like. It should feel like a parent-child relationship, how a child should feel. As a parent being related to a child, it should feel like a connectedness. It should feel like an acceptance. It should feel like fostering or nurturing that's coming from that parent. And that's actually in the acronym CAN, where all children, whether they're male or female, they feel a sense of connectiveness. They feel a sense of acceptance. And they also feel a nurturing and experiencing a nurturing environment. If it's not that, they have, and if they're not experiencing that, they have a sense of feel of abandonment.
Absolutely.
And if it's not accepted, they have a feel of rejection.
Absolutely.
And if it's not nurturing, they have a feel of abuse, and abuse can be on different levels.
Yes.
And so when we understand that as parents, and this is why I ask that we need to have, and you know it only too well, Naima Latif, because he was my co-host for a couple of years, in terms of what it is that we have to actually cultivate in that relationship, that child has to experience love in that and those ways. Because what we're seeing today, we're seeing children that don't feel love.
That's right.
Attention.
They're giving us what they have experienced. Yeah. We gotta Mark, we gotta take a break.
Validation. They're seeking that. They're seeking it in the wrong way, but they never got it in the correct way.
There you go. That's it. That's exactly what it is. We gotta take a break. We gotta take a quick break, Brother Mark. But you basically hit the nail on the head. and that's what we're seeing. When we're seeing in our children is what they experience. They're giving us what was given to them. And we might think we gave them love, but we gave them pain. And love does not hurt. Pain cannot manifest in a way that's helpful. So whether we give them emotional pain or physical pain or both, because we think that's love, because that's what was given to us, that does not have a spiritually transformative impact.
That's right.
And so we'll talk about that when we come back. We got to take a quick break, and we got a couple of callers on the line. So we'll take some callers. And if you're listening online and want to join this conversation, give us a call, 515-605-9891. Connect us to our American Muslim 360 family, or 515-605-9325 on the Female Solution. And you can also call into the on-air radio network at 727-731-5192. And we'll be right back after this quick break. So we want you to stick and stay. Don't stray away. As our brother says, we'll be right back after this brief message. So just stay with us.
Do you want to live in a world without war? Join our global peace movement. Heavenly Culture World Peace Restoration of Life transcends culture, religion, ideology, and other boundaries to achieve peaceful harmony in the global society. HWPL is committed to bringing world peace and cessation of war through peaceful dialogue between religious groups. I am Director Shin-Suk Kim of the HWPL Chicago branch of North America. Join us for our next gathering. Call 773-580-1501 and be a part of the movement for world peace. Email us at chicagohwpl@gmail.com.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
Alrighty.
We have an opportunity to transform the whole global society in the next 50 years. 50 years from now, the earth will be populated by a new generation of adults, many of whom are yet unborn. Our mission is to nurture them in childhood with love, guidance, and protection, and to raise them in healthy, happy families. If we impart values of compassion, generosity, and respect for fellow human beings in the next generation of children, they will create a world where people can live together in peace. This is our goal. Be a part of the transformation. Get your copy of the book, The Female Solution. Go to www.naimalatif.com. That's www.naimalatif.com.
We are back. You're listening to and watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naima Latif, along with my co-host Kareem Hamid and the American Muslim 360 family, joining us every Wednesday. And of course, if you are watching us on Facebook or YouTube, you can write in your comments and we'll gladly add them to the screen so that our listeners can know that you had a comment. And we've got a comment from our dear sister Zelda of the Higher Learning Network TV show. And she says, Grand Rising, beautiful queen teacher. We can always count on the brothers to break it down. Kudos. Yes. Yeah, definitely. The men have broken it down. And it's important that we have that partnership in the family between mothers and fathers, because that is the foundation that children see and understand how to treat others. You know, I was watching a video clip of Michelle Obama. She was talking about her experiences growing up and the relationship between her grandparents. And it was one of those old time traditional relationships, you know, the man is the boss, the woman, you know, submits and all of that. And she observed that. And even as a child, you know, 4 or 5 years old, she saw how her grandfather was, you know, sort of a, well, she described him as kind of a bully sometimes to her grandmother, but she was one of those, you know, traditional women. You quietly submit, you know, you don't talk back, you know, you're meek and mild. And she, being the personality she was a stronger personality, Michelle Obama, she would say to her grandfather, you know, don't be hollering at grandmother like that. You know, don't talk to grandma like that. Now that was pretty bold for a child, but that was the personality she had as a being, as a soul, as a person. And so she challenged this adult and how he was talking to the grandmother and but she noticed that her parents kind of supported that, like, you know, don't interfere. Just, you know, that's how it's supposed to be. So I think her observing that maybe helped to even shape her as one who has been very groundbreaking as a first lady and changing the dynamics of how people see a couple's relationship, because at them as the first couple, they set an example and they were very much visually seen as a strong partnership. And that had a, I think, very positive impact for women, understanding that your strength, your professionalism, your ability to function both inside and outside of the home in no way diminishes a man's masculinity or his intelligence or respect by other people. So you can be a whole person and be a whole person in a partnership and strengthen the partnership. The suppression of women's personalities is unhealthy and it's destructive. It says you as a person are not valuable. You're not as valuable as I am. That model of behavior is something that children see in the household. They see if, they see if one parent is not respecting another. They see if another parent is putting another parent in fear of physical or emotional pain. They see that and they feel that. And that doesn't feel like love, nurturing, safety, security, all those things that you know, our brother talked about. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like fear. And they don't want to live in fear, or they're going to inflict fear on other people. So that relationship between the parents, if it's not reflecting love, if it's not reflecting mutual respect, it's going to impact the children and how they feel. And so that's one of the things culturally. Spiritual teachings can correct, but if people haven't corrected it in themselves, they will continue that pattern of mistreatment of someone, even when they have teachings that tell them that is incorrect. And
You
it's,
know, Naima,
yes.
in the marriage khutbah or the marriage ceremony, we were advised to live as if between the husband and the bride. To live as if you are the only two people on earth. And it is your responsibility to grow civilization or establish human beings on the earth. A question was asked last night on the courtship and marriage. This brother called in and he asked, what does that mean to act as if you are the only two people on earth? What it's alluding to that my survival is tied to your survival.
Yes.
Yours is tied to my survival.
Yes.
So that's how we should treat one another. I wouldn't do anything to harm you because I'm harming myself.
Yes.
I'm threatening my own survival.
Yes.
So I want the best for you. You know, I want the best for you because I am inextricably connected to you. My peace is tied to your peace. My security is tied to your security. My happiness, all of that. As if you are the only two people on earth. It should be a bond that is just that tight. Now, in relationship to our children, you know, the result is not ours. Let me say that. We can give the best advice, but the result is not up to us. I'm going to share from the Quran once more.
Mm-hmm.
This is in relationship to the Prophet Muhammad. We pray the prayers and the peace upon him. We know he loved the companions. He
Yes.
loved the members of the community.
Yes, and then we'll take those callers. Yeah.
Now, here in the 128th verse or ayah in the Surah Tayyibah, repentance, God says to him and to us through him, now has come unto you an apostle from amongst yourselves. Now here's where we come in. It grieves him that you should perish. Ordinately anxious is he over you. To the believers is he most kind and merciful. But if they turn away, say, God is sufficient for me. There is no God but him.
Amen.
Yes. Yes.
On him is my trust. He, the Lord of the throne of glory, supreme.
Amen.
So that is,
May I ask a question?
that is
Yes. And now, and let me take a couple of callers also, because one of the things that we observe, and well, let me take a caller, so we can get some responses of from what we heard. Area code 111. Please give us your name and where you're calling from, and your question or comment on our topic today.
Hello.
Yes.
My name is Fred. How are you?
Yes, Fred. Thank you for joining us, Fred.
First of all, I want to say that I absolutely love your show. Hello, sir. And you were very inspiring, and I feel like by the grace of God, I needed an answer. Today I went through the Blog Talk Radio, and I came across your show, and it says relationships with parents. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, sir.
And God works in mysterious ways, because that's exactly the situation I'm in. And I just heard that gentleman. Is he a pastor or a preacher?
Yes, he's an imam. He's head of the Kareem. Yes.
I'm a CD right You're also a messenger of God because your words have enlightened me, and I think God works in mysterious ways. So let me get down to my relationship with my parents, and I need your help desperately, and I feel this is the answer. So,
give us your name again. I'm sorry. Give us your name again. Fred.
My name is Fred.
Okay, I want to put it up on the screen here. Okay. All right. Thank you, Fred. Go right ahead.
From Baltimore, Maryland.
From Baltimore. All right. Thank you for calling in.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So tell us about your parents.
My question. What's that?
And so tell us what you were going to say about your relationship with your parents.
Yes, my relationship with my parents, and I need your help. Hopefully, the gentleman can understand me. My dad already knows. This took a long time. We had a difficult relationship, but my dad already knows that I'm gay, and that was difficult for me to get that across to him. And he was fine with me being gay, but in some odd way, he envisions me as not completely being gay. Like, in other words, I don't know how to put this, but he says, like, how do I, as far as making love, he says, where do I, am I the man or the woman? And I said, I'm the man. And that made my dad feel better. And my dad, he's had a tough time coming to grips with this, but now he tells his friends my son is gay, but he plays the role of the man in the relationship, which I find to be odd, but here's my dilemma. I'm really more, I would say, I'm just gay, and I'm not the man, I'm not the woman, but I'm gay, and I am also a receiver of my lover, my male lover. So I also give up my love to him, my private area to him. So
Fred, what is your conflict with your parents? Do you say they've accepted you for who you are?
He accepted me, but he didn't accept me. In the gay community, they call it top and bottom. So the top would be the man, the bottom would be the woman, thus taking the bottom, giving up the bottom, so to speak.
Well, Fred, let me address. Well, let me address your issue that you've raised, because fathers look at their sons as reflections of them, and it's a challenge to a man if his son expresses himself as one that is attracted to males, because fathers will often respond internally with, where did I go wrong? My son is not reflecting me as a masculine man. So they see it as a challenge to their masculinity. So for your father, he equated your role in the relationship as a reflection of his own masculinity. And that's why he felt, well, as long as you're playing the male role, then that makes me feel like I influenced you in a masculine way, even though you're having relations with another man. But if you're playing the feminine role in the intimate relationship, he's feeling like that reflects negatively on his masculinity. What did I do? How did my son not see manhood through me? He's seeing it as all about himself. And one of the things, Fred, that we're teaching in our Parenting with Peace class is for parents, first of all, to realize your children are souls coming through you. They are not you. They are souls coming through you to be loved and guided by you. And they're going to be influenced by you. But if you have any kind of wounded ego issues, you're going to inflict that on your child. And so what a parent first has to do is realize what they feel about themselves. If you don't have a healthy feeling about yourself, then you cannot accept your child for whatever they are, understanding that they are a soul coming through you for an experience on this earth, and they are to be loved by you unconditionally. So you, of course, are a challenge for your father to understand unconditional love. Not, I love my son if he's a masculine man in my idea of what masculinity is, But I love my son because he's a soul that is an expression of God, and he is perfect as he is. However, he expresses himself. That's a big challenge for people who do not understand that we are first souls having a spiritual experience inside a physical body. And the physical body that we're in does not define who we are. It's a vehicle that allows us to express emotions. That's a big step for people who have condemnatory feelings about sexuality. But in this next generation, we have to first understand what it means to be a spiritual being and to express the love of the Creator, which is unconditional. And that's the safety and security that a parent has to provide in that household so that a child feels safe and not fearful of either condemnation or punishment from a parent who looks at a child as reflecting them. So just like if a child comes home with poor grades in school and the parents feel like they need to beat them, you didn't try hard enough, I'm going to beat you because you got an F instead of an A or whatever the case. Why? Why are you believing that this child and their performance reflects you and you have to beat them? Well, it's because you don't feel good about yourself as a parent. Maybe you feel like this child's poor report card reflects on your intelligence. And out of fear that what they're reflecting makes you feel bad about yourself, you're going to hit them. But what you're really doing is hitting yourself. Like Kareem was talking about, you are a reflection of me. I'm a reflection of you. My survival depends on you. Your survival depends on me. When two parents treat each other that way, then there is no pain inflicted on someone because of who they are. You're understanding that love is unconditional. And that is the environment in which we must raise our children, so that however this soul expresses, whether we understand it or agree with it or not, we give them unconditional love. It's difficult for a parent if they have a belief system that says, if you're not what I think you should be, I should cause you pain. So this is a lesson for you to understand that whatever you're expressing to others has to be an expression of unconditional love, whether they understand you or agree with you or not, because that's what we're here to learn how to do. So we thank you for calling, and I'm going to open the mic for 872-731. Give us your name, where you're calling from, and your question or comment.
My name is Rashid. I'll be calling from.
Yes.
My comment is that the taxi person is one who remembers and lives by taqwa, and that's the fear of Allah. You know, and I believe in taqwa, the fear of Allah, fear of what His great leaders had about boys for us to discipline ourselves and our children. However, in this supply and this barrel among mankind, we have other prophesied that men imposes on us. Now, to reprimand your child, and you do it as an intelligent person, you would put fear of the Creator, and you also have fear of doing right or wrong because of the Creator's commandment. That's why we don't have in most of our communities that discipline and compliance. Anything that we do on this earth, that's the rule of law and the rule of compliance. If we don't comply with state rules of law, federal rules of law, or other rules of law enforcement, compliance, etc., you will definitely have fear because there's a caution of not having Taqwa in your life. That's, I believe. And to have that and reprimand your child correctly and caution your child and put the fear in him or her if he does not do the right thing, there's no wrong to it. But a person who does not have that understanding and that level of intelligence, in my opinion, they create the problem. Like, for example, in the Black community, because we were having so many babies without fathers because of addiction. Our children had become unruly, undisciplined. So we have to, tap them. I never hit my child in my life. I married a Muslim. He hit my son. My son ran away at 15, got his own house and everything else. But then he understood too that you have to, respect the authority. And Allah is the authority, one of them. And if a parent raises a child to have that fear of not doing the right thing, then they would not impose it on other people. They think it's natural in impoverished areas, especially here on the South Side, to kill. They think it's like, it's normal. The parents accept it, the children are doing it, the grown people are doing it. But when the people who make the law that, overpopulation of the earth, let's kill all of y'all, let's abort. And it wasn't just for them to abort because they're having more babies, but for the ones that they've been that dependent on them, it became a rule of law. Abort, process of elimination. And that's worse than reprimanding. And you definitely have been complying. A lot of people are complying. They're even going against the grain of nature, in my opinion.
Well, Rashida, I know we're running out of time we're running out of time on the American Muslim 360 channel. You've raised an issue which we're going to be talking about extensively, and that is fear. Because fear and love is not the same thing. You don't fear someone that you feel love from, because fear means you believe they're going to cause you pain. That means you don't trust them. And this is the skill that we're working.
Pain might cause you fear, and fear, pain, might give you more fear, but it's not necessarily true.
Well,
fear cause you awakening. If you fear Allah, and tell the person who fears Allah, abides by His will, they won't cause you pain, but not to fear Him cause you pain. I believe like that.
Well, I understand that. I understand that belief, and that's what we are addressing in a very detailed way on our Parenting with Peace class. Because when you give guidance and understanding and empathy, the way Kareem talked about understanding that you are connected to this person, you are part of them, they're a part of you. You don't need to cause pain or fear, because when you have understanding, then your compliance with rules is not out of fear of pain, but out of a desire to do no harm to others. When that is inside of you, then you are self-governing, self-managed, self-controlling, because you desire to do no harm. So the desire to do no harm is what has to be instilled in the child, so that they willingly comply, not out of fear of punishment or pain, but out of love for the other. They have no desire to hurt another. That is what our Creator uses to transform life, not out of fear, but out of love, because we understand that we're all connected. So I believe, I don't know, Kareem, I don't know if you've got a moment to give a thought, because I know that, I don't know if you have another program coming on after this one. And I see our time has...
Yeah, we have ran out of time. But I just want to share this with you, and it is from the Quran, from the words of He who created us. Now has come unto you an apostle from amongst yourselves. Now here's where we come in, the parents. It grieves him that you should perish. Ardently anxious is he over you. To the believers is he most kind and merciful. Let me repeat that. To the believers is he most kind and merciful. But if they turn away, this is me. Just say to yourself, God is sufficient for me. There is no God but He. On Him is my trust. He, the Lord of the throne of glory, supreme. So praise be to Allah. This is the price we pay for being parents. You can hate the sin, but don't hate the sinner.
And that is what unconditional love is about. You love someone even as they're going through the process of growth and development and making mistakes. But you give guidance with your own example, and always compassion and always love. It's not easy, but you are able to do it when you experience it as the love from the Creator, which is unconditional, even when we make errors in our own judgment. So can we have that same compassion toward our children? Yes, we can. Can we demonstrate that kind of love and compassion with our spouses, with the other parent, so that our child can see what love looks like and they can experience what love feels like? And when we can do that, then we can lay the right foundation for a love relationship that will expand and involve and influence all of those whose lives we touch. So this is our task, to understand what love is and to express it and to demonstrate it and to use it as the guiding force that helps our children become the best version of themselves and to live fearlessly, because love does not hurt.
Naima, did you say Naima?
Yes, sir.
Did you say next month the whole of the female solution is going to be devoted to that this topic? Because you know there's so much more to say in regards to
Definitely. In its various expressions. Our goal always, especially in our Wednesday show, is to repair the broken families, to repair what's inside of us that's broken, that keeps us from being able to form love relationships that work. And so much of our absence of love is the belief in condemnation of people who make errors rather than giving them guidance and understanding. Because everybody's life path is different. Everybody's going through what they're going through for their own soul's evolution. We're not meant to be the same, but we are meant to have the same regard of our feelings, our aspirations, and we're meant to receive unconditional love, even though we may be misunderstood or may misunderstand. We have to feel in our homes that we are safe from being caused pain. So that means our parents have to know what love feels like so that they can show our children what it feels like. And they can't know if they're believing love requires the infliction of pain. It does not. it does not.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
And we thank you all for joining us on this Wednesday. Join us tomorrow as we return and shop with Zoe, and let us share some of our comments. And thank you, our dear sister Zelda. Great show as always. She says, be sure and join us for Betty Shaban's youth podcast training today from 2 to 2:15 Central Standard Time. Go to youtube.com/Higher Learning TV show. And we are giving youth a voice so that they may be heard all around the world. And we need to sometimes learn from them so that we can be a better reflection for them. I'm Naima Latif. I want to thank our co-host, Kareem Hamid, our American Muslim 360 family, and all of our callers who joined us today. We thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow and the rest of the week. And until that time, we want you to continue to shine your light. And thank you to our global family listening from all around the world. We say thank you.
We've come to the end of our show today, but you can hear every show in the archives at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution. You can also hear today's show on the Female Solution Facebook page. Go to www.facebook.com/the-female-solution. Leave your comments about today's show. You can always reach me on my website at www.naimalatif.com. That's www.naimalatif.com. Watch our TV shows, listen to our radio shows, order our books, and be sure to get your copy of the book, The Female Solution. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussion. And to our global family listening from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, Sheshe, India, Zanyaba, Japan, Arigato, Korea, Kamsahamnida, Russia, Spasiba, Germany, Danke, Poland, Jean-Claude, France, Merci, Spain, Gracias, Italy, Grazie, Egypt, Shukra, Ghana, Medasi, Nigeria, Eshe, South Africa, Niabonga, Senegal, Jerez, Kenya, Asante, Israel, Todas, Pakistan, Shukriya, Afghanistan, Tashakur, Saudi Arabia, Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you. And may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.
See you tomorrow.